Hi folks, Bill Suys here. I just received a set of the Bill Suys professional set from Rosemary Company. And before I cut into them and just put them to use, I thought I'd share with you some of the reasons why I have the variety that I do and some of the uses for each of those brushes. And quickly to start, this is a great, nice, big, full set of brushes. And when you see it online, you think, my God, it's pretty pricey. But just to put it in perspective, this is something that you'll be able to use for basically the rest of your career. You take care of these brushes, and they're going to last a lifetime. And as opposed to that, this is a 48 by 48. It's a linen canvas, and I far prefer linen over cotton. So I'm willing to pay the extra price for the linen. But when I take the linen, stretch it on these stretcher bars, you add up the cost of that, and it starts to approach the cost of this set of brushes. So when you put it in that kind of a perspective, a single use on a canvas and stretcher bars versus a lifetime of use on brushes, it's definitely well worth the effort. And what I'd like to do is just show you some of the variety of brushes that we have in here. But before I do that, I want to point out one thing. This is actually the Billy Suys professional set, which kind of cracks me up because my entire life I've been Billy, and then I have a son, Billy, so he kind of took that name in the last few years. And then also online, it's always William A. Suys Jr. It seems so formal. So it was really nice to get this set and see that it's the Billy Suys professional set. But anyway, quickly, I'll start out with they're called the Ultimate Long Flats. And these are a traditional bristle brush, and these are really the workhorses, for me at least they are. They're so versatile, but then they're long lasting, they're durable, they're really nice brushes to work with. And for instance, if I were to take this brush and lay it flat, I can really start to, this is 24 by 30. I can cover a lot of ground really pretty darn quickly with a brush this size, or with a brush this size as well. But at the same time, when I load this up with paint, and I load it up with the correct amount of paint and medium, I can make basically a chisel edge. This is a brand new brush, but when I get the paint and the medium on there, I can really make a knife edge, and I can really cut in, whether it be an architectural shape, a piece of foliage, whatever it might be, I can really cut in with a really nice sharp line. And then I can also, I can vary the brush stroke, I can do calligraphic strokes, and so it really gives you an infinite variety of possibilities in terms of the stroke and in terms of the paint application. So like I say, these are my workhorses. Eventually they'll round off a little bit and they'll be a little less sharp. For instance, now, especially with the Master Series, I can take an edge, I can actually create an edge by going perpendicular to that edge and painting with it. But workhorses are the long flats for me. Then I also have filberts that are of the same material. And the difference between the flats and the filberts is that these they'll give you a softer start and finish on the stroke. These can be kind of abrupt unless you come in, like I say, with an edge or a corner of the brush versus coming in flat. But these, for instance, if you're doing a portrait, or if you're doing, cows, these are, I consider these all edges all the way across this cow. And this is in progress. I'll finish this up within the next couple of days. But when I create these edges, I can really create a wide variety of soft and hard edges with either of these two brushes. Then we go into the Masters series, and these, especially for, surprisingly, for alla prima type of applications, these brushes will enable you to lay down paint. Sometimes stiffer brushes might tend to pull paint a little bit if you don't have the mix right and the underlying surface right. It might pull paint a little bit more, but these can actually, in a situation like that, can really lay down paint beautifully. So they're really a unique, it's kind of an advanced mongoose brush, but they really enable you to lay down paint beautifully, and you've got to try them and you've got to use them and you'll understand what I mean. But I've got some flats and filberts in those as well. Then I also have, one of the brushes in here is, it's an angle brush, But I think of it, I spent years painting houses in college, during my summer vacation. And I think of this as a sash brush. And if you think about how a painter uses a sash brush on windows, sills, and things like that to cut in a really clean edge, you can really cut a straight line and a beautifully clean line with this angled brushes, or with an angled brush. Then I also have a series of smaller brushes. Like I say, I do most of my painting with the large brushes, but I'll paint ships from time to time. And when I'm painting ships, there's riggers and there's really small detail. And I actually call these riggers, and some companies will call them riggers as well. But you can lay, because of the length of the brush and because of the fine point, you can lay in a long, continuous line with this, and really does beautiful, unique work. Also, if I'm painting a tree, here's a filbert of the same material. If I'm painting a tree, I can cut in a branch, whether it be a flowing branch or whether. Okay, Kristen. My wife is a hobbyist painter, and she was a designer for years, so she wants to take my things, but it's not going to happen.
Sorry.
Kristen. But anyway, once you get used to these brushes, and it's easy to get used to them, but you'll be able to create a wide variety of strokes and a wide variety of applications. And because of the quality of these brushes, you can either put really thin paint on these, thin with a lot of very fluid, less viscous medium. You can really lay in long, smooth strokes, or you can load them up with a lot of paint. And in fact, you can load some of these pointed brushes up with a lot of paint and create a surprising amount of texture in a detailed area. And once you get to using them, you'll understand what I mean. These are some additional varieties of these ivory flats that they're all going to work out so beautiful. It's funny because I'm looking at these, I haven't used these yet, but I'm excited to get to use them. And then a big, beautiful, what I call a hake brush. This will enable me to, for instance, if I've got a big, large area, it'll enable me to do a number of things. Similar to a fan brush, it'll enable me to knock down ridges if I want to knock down ridges. But it'll also allow me to subtly move paint without actually forcing and pulling and pushing the paint as hard as I might with a stiffer brush. This is a very soft, very thin bristle. But hopefully that gives you a little idea of of the brushes and their uses. Obviously, you'll learn how to use these brushes, and you'll love using these brushes. So if you guys have questions, you can send me an email, or you can contact me on Facebook at William A. Suys Jr. or my other Facebook page, Bill Suys, and I'd be happy to talk about them. They're wonderful brushes, and I'm looking forward to putting them to use. So thanks for taking a couple of minutes, and hope you enjoy them.